Oh, you're a Sherry. No, we got to change your name. I don't know why it does that.
I don't know either.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing really good. Challenges and triumphs.
Really?
Yeah. What are you up to?
That's 6'2".
Not bad.
Trying to set up my watch here. I got a new watch. So let's see here. I don't know if you got an email yet. I asked my assistant in a kind of short notice to send you an email with my latest video. Have you seen anything in your inbox yet?
Nope, I got something from Joe about interest rates, and that was the last of it.
All right, it might be coming.
Excellent.
So it's almost 1 o'clock, and maybe some people will be popping on. You did get notice of the class, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see.
Might just be me and you.
There's a Willie's on. Bridget's on. We get people coming in.
Excellent.
It all. Well, hello, everybody. Denny Grimes here. Welcome to my real estate mastery call. And here's Don Aldridge coming on. Let me let these people in. I'm flying solo today. John is on vacation, well-deserved. Sonny is taking my team through a training, and that's awesome as well. I appreciate you being on. If you can, unless you're in a tanning booth or a car wash, throw your camera on and let me see who's here, and let's have some conversation. Don, I'm going to ask you right now in front of God and everybody. Wednesday, Joe asked me to do the KCN call. I've never done that one before, so you want to be on it with me?
Next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. That's my weekly BNI meeting that I'm obviously in person for. I would love to, but I can't be on the Wednesday calls.
Okay, no worries.
Take a rain check?
Yep, you bet. So if you can, get your cameras on. Either way, I won't be harping with you on that. Welcome, everybody. And I'm going to always start you guys with my thought of the day. And there's more and more people talking about interest rates. Have you noticed that lately? So we had our mortgage mortgage broker come in and talk to us today at our sales meeting, and we used Movement, and she's an awesome loan officer. And of course, you know, people aren't doing a lot of refi right now. And so she talks about, she saw a video, evidently everyone's got an opinion. There's a guru out there in the mortgage broker business that says that, because I was asking her what the prognosis was for rates moving forward. And I guess they're around 5.25 or whatever. And so I guess they were a little bit higher and they came back down. And this is what she said. And I want your blink on this. Yeah, this guru said on YouTube, but he's got a bazillion followers, that he's expect rates to come down by this time next year. So what is your blink on that? And I want you guys to start, I want you to listen at a different level. Because remember, the science of the market is it starts with emotion. Shifts begin with emotion. That's worth writing down. So anyway, she talked, and then they left us with the bagels, and then we had a conversation. So what's your blink? Anyone have an opinion on that? Good, bad, or indifferent? How it relates to our conversations, because we're going to have a conversation around it.
Well, Denny, my first observation is obviously what's that mean to you? Again, it's not my opinion, but what does that mean to them so I can help them see what they're not seeing, like we talked about last week?
Right?
And even if, yeah, you're right, interest rates may go, well, interest rates are going to go up and they are going to come down. Let's get back to pricing and what does that mean for a payment for you? I guess have a discussion around that. That's my
Okay.
first thought.
Anyone, one more. Anyone have a thought on that? Because my antenna went up right away. When a buyer hears that the experts are saying interest rates are going to come down next year, does that give them urgency to buy now, or they want to put on the brakes and wait?
I think they'd want to put on the brakes and wait if they didn't need to buy. So I think as real estate agents, we're going to have to, similar to what Don just said, find out what their real need is, what their pain is now to see that they really do want to buy now.
Okay. Well, all right. So could the conversation be very similar? Could it be some expert out there, and there's always experts that, in fact, have you ever noticed watching a ball game? There's experts that pick one team and there's experts that pick the other team. And that's the same thing. Is the market going up? Is market going down in the futures? Interest rates going up, going down? And guess what? No one knows. So it could be the same conversation. An expert goes out there and says, you know what? Prices, now that inventory is going up, prices are going to start to go down. That's going to not only bringing this up, you guys, because it's going to make our job maybe a little bit more challenging. And Terry, you're right, unless they have a high motivation. So let's do a quick role play around this. And do we have any volunteers to be the agent? And I'll let somebody warm up to be the buyer that says, basically, I heard interest rates are going to go down. And let's see how we should be handling that conversation. Any volunteers? This is where we grow, guys. I mean, imagine, I'd feel the same way if this was a Zumba class. I'm not getting in front of anybody in Zumba. That's not that funny, Whitney. Come on. You could probably Zumba.
I drank too much coffee. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack real soon.
All right. So, hey, Brian, welcome back. So you're front and center. Don, you were speaking up first. So I'm going to let you,
Yep.
I'm going to let you be the agent. And
Okay.
Brian, if you know, you've been kind of AOL. Well, that's my email address. You've been kind of missing an MIA, I guess. So I'm going to let you be the buyer, okay? And you just heard interest rates are going to be maybe getting better around the first of the year or this time next year. So anyway, go. This is not on the phone. This is a face-to-face appointment.
Right.
Who must is it?
Okay.
Who must talk to? Don?
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, Don.
Yep. Well, Brian, yep, you're right. That there are certainly experts in every field, and experts have opinions just like we do. I guess what I wanted to ask you is, what's that mean for you and your family?
Don, if the perfect house pops up on the market now, we're willing to move, but would it be great if interest rates were lowered next year? That would be great too, but I don't think any scenario is perfect.
100% right. There's no perfect home, Brian. There's probably no perfect situation. So
Hey, Don, just as a reminder.
Repeated. Yep. So I acknowledge you that you're right. So I guess my question is, why are we looking to buy a home right now?
Oh, the kids are moving out, and me and the wife are moving to Florida. So
Love that.
Okay. Well, we certainly have a great agent there that can take care of you. That's for sure. So, we're in the house. I know you want to go to Florida. What's stopping you from buying the right house right now? Other than that, let me back up. Other than the interest rates going up, going down, with an expert acknowledging, is there anything else out there stopping you from making that move?
No, I mean, nothing really. I mean, we haven't really started looking yet. So.
Okay. And Brian, help me understand, do you own the house you're in, or are you renting?
I'm going to do a timeout right now. You guys need to write that on your, put a tattoo on your right bicep. That's a question you want to be making sure you ask every buyer you work with. You've got to know that going in. Now,
And
it does,
I should have asked that first, but
yeah,
again, we're,
it's okay. It doesn't always have to be the first question. However, in my silly little analogies, and I may, so forgive me, this is just going back to my era. Before you start planning your first date, you may want to find out if they're married, right?
yep. So, and again, it's a warm up. So thanks for giving me some grace on that. So Brian, forgive me, are you renting or are you owning? Do you own a house?
Well, we have a note on the house right now, but we'll need to sell it to buy.
Okay, so we need to, okay, so we got to sell it before we can buy. Is that something you?
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is a training thing here for you guys. If you've got somebody hesitating to buy and they have to sell, do you know what that's a red flag right away. If they're hesitating to buy and they have to sell, what's really going on?
Do they have enough money to make the move?
Well, if they're waiting to buy, if they're hesitating to buy because of market conditions, that the interest rate's too high, they want the rates to come down or whatever, or they want prices to come down, how does that affect them as a seller?
They lose equity.
So it's kind of like one goes up, one goes, it's a teeter-totter, right? So
Right.
understand when you have somebody that is, I want to buy low, but I have to sell, like, okay, so do you want to sell low and buy low? You ask them that question, it's almost like a V8. So understand if they own and then they just understand yes, I want to have a cheeseburger and I want to be skinny. Well, I have to make a decision. I can't have both. All right. So keep going.
So Brian, okay, so we established, we got to sell in order before we can buy and move to Florida, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And regardless of what happens in the marketplace, obviously, if we take a little beating here, you're probably going to be able to, quote unquote, beat somebody else up on the purchase, right?
Well, I guess, I mean, as long as we get to Florida and sell the house, that's all that really matters. I don't really plan on beating anybody up. Want to be fair here.
Of course. And again, and if we get a little bit more for your house here in Scottsdale, you may end up paying a little bit more in Florida. I mean, the market is the market. Are we in agreement that we're not going to be able to sell for $1 million here and then go beat somebody up in Florida, right? It's what happens here happens there. Are we in agreement with that?
That was
Yep.
a novel. That was a novel, Don.
I know.
So, I get it. So that happens when we get nervous. You got a little bit lost. So we'll just call time there. I might have missed it. Did he ever say beat up?
No, that was my language. Thank you.
And, and Brian, you played that well. I mean, you said, I don't want to beat up anyone. I'm thinking, where did Don get beat up? I'm just kind of curious. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pick somebody volunteer and I'm going to be the buyer. And you know how nice and gentle I am. So who wants to handle me as an agent?
I'll go with you, John. Not John, Denny.
I know you missed John. This is Denny. Okay.
No.
So, all right. So, hey, Brian, you know what? I just heard, I appreciate you showing me homes for the last 16 weeks. I just heard on the news that experts are saying interest rates are going to be better next year at this time. So what do you think about that?
Denny, can I ask where you're seeing that at?
It was a YouTube guy, he had purple hair, but he sounded like he knew what he's talking about.
I understand. Do you listen to people outside of, like, if you needed to have heart surgery, you listen to your dentist?
Well, he's a well-established mortgage broker. He just has purple hair.
Okay. And do you think the mortgage broker determines the market?
Well, let me ask you this. If you were going to buy a Ford F-150 and you heard that Ford was going to put them on sale at the end of the year and you really didn't need to buy a truck right now, would you buy one or would you wait for it to go on sale?
I understand, Denny. You may want the best deal possible when buying your next home, right? Makes sense for everybody.
Now, hang
But
on a second. Did I say best deal?
you did say on sale at the end of the year. Why would you wait then?
Well, my only thing I'm modeling, Brian, for everyone is if I didn't say best deal, don't use words I don't use. Because I never said anything about best deal. In fact, if you go back to my original, what is my original statement? Interest rates look better or look like they're going to be more favorable next year at this time. And so,
Okay.
and I ask you what you thought. And that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Denny, I understand. You may want to wait if interest rates get better next year. Now, you are familiar with how the market was previously when interest rates dropped?
Help me. I don't know what you mean.
So other than right now, where interest rates are currently, is there anything else stopping you from buying a house?
Thank you, guys. He's at number 2. Thank you for going there. No, that's just like, if I can get a better deal, I think it might be better to wait.
Okay, I understand. Getting a better deal may be a good thing for everybody, right? So if we were to wait when interest rates dropped, like last year when they did drop, what happened with all the buyers in the market?
Well, interest rates have been below this rate here for more than the last since last year. They've been under 5% for 10 years. So now they're over 5%. So I feel like I've just kind of like missed the boat. And just as a note, you haven't asked me the key question yet. Am I married? Figuratively, I'm speaking.
Well, I'm looking at your ring right now, but
what is the question, guys? Remind him.
Do you own or rent?
There you go, because your conversation may be completely different. You guys got to remember that. So go ahead.
yeah, I mean, do you own or rent, Denny?
I'm gonna make it easy for you. I rent.
You rent, okay. And are you getting any of that money back when you go buy your next house?
No.
Okay, so 100% of that money is non-refundable, right?
Yeah, it's like throwing money in a hole.
Yeah, okay. So if you were to wait, say, next year, is that when you plan on possibly buying?
Well, I can just renew my rent. There's nothing wrong with the house. I would just like to have a backyard and so I can put a pickleball court in there. And so but there's no big rush.
Okay. So say, Denny, if your lease, I'm assuming, ends when?
Well, I'm kind of like month to month, but I'll give me a better deal if I sign a year's lease. So you're my real estate friend and my pickleball buddy. I'm just asking you, do you think interest rates will be better next year? Maybe I should wait.
So Denny, during this timeline of you waiting, hypothetically, while you're burning your money on rent, and let's say we do wait with interest rates drop, do you think you'll deal with more competition trying to get a better deal?
Now you're going into a cool direction. And this is what I want to talk about here just a little bit. And then we'll go back to this rental thing here, unless you guys raise your hand for something else. I want you to realize, and he's about ready to go down the conversation. Think back to when COVID first hit. And 2020, February, March, April, and kind of sellers kind of like got freaked out and they pulled their house off the market. And our conversation to them was, well, you're feeling the same fear as a lot of other sellers are feeling. So let me ask you, and I'll just go back to you, Brian, you're that potential seller. And I'll just keep it as a buyer. So you guys are, so let me ask you, if you have that concern that it might be a better buy next year, do you think that other people might have that same concern? Y'all take notes because I'm going to give you the magic formula here. Are other people going to think like you?
Yeah.
So if they do think like you and they go onto the sidelines, do you think, will that help you or hurt you if you're a buyer in this market?
It would hurt me.
How?
If I wait?
No, I'm saying if other people leave the market and you stay in the market, does that hurt or help you?
Oh, that helps me.
Right. So just, I'm going to say parenthetically, this is the big picture. So you just understand, do you realize that a buyer that fears, I mean, right now buyers' fear is kind of at a peak and it's maybe growing. They may be stepping out of the market exactly the wrong time. Now, why would they be in the market in the last year where homes are going up like gas prices? They're competing, they're having to write offers, 10, 15, 30% over asking price. That was actually the wrong time for them to be in it. The only thing that kept them in it was their greed of wanting it to grow. Well, now it's going to level, and maybe in some markets it might slow down a little bit. However, even if the prices don't go down, and here's the key thing, nowhere in our market have we seen the prices regress. Just the rate of growth is slowing. So let's just assume for this conversation, the prices get into a manageable 4, 5, 6% range. It's not going to go to 50% buy one, get one free. If buyers fear that now is a bad time to buy, and you can convince your buyer to stay in the market, they have a potential of winning. How? Because there'll be basically less competition. Are you following that? Write that down. There'll be less competition because buyers have gone to the sideline. Number two, do you think it's possible, Bryant, that other sellers now are going to see, and the media will pick up on the fact that there's an article just hit last week that buyer sentiment is an all-time low. Do you think when sellers start to read that, they may scratch their head and think, Martha, maybe we should put our home on the market now while the getting's good? So do you think maybe sellers, or if their home is on the market and they're not getting the activity, do you think they might be a little softer on their expectations? Is that reasonable? Yes? No? I think it is. And here's the other thing, the last point I want to make. I think when you're working with a buyer that is a little bit skittish as far as stepping forward in the market because you think it's going to be on sale or a better price in the future, I think your win is this. So I'm going to end it with Bryant. Bryant, let me ask you, if there are fewer buyers and maybe sellers are more motivated, do you realize that means if you don't have multiple offers, you may be able to find something out there, unlike 3 months ago, instead of paying $30,000 or $40,000 over asking price, you might be able to literally get it for asking price. Can you see what the potential savings is right there?
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, you guys, when people are considering the interest rates at 5.5 or whatever compared to 3.5, their potential savings on not having to go over asking price by 10, 20, 30, 40, $100,000 far outweighs the difference in interest they pay in that little interest rate swing. So I'm landing a plane, I promise you. So my goal then in working with a buyer, and I think your goal as a win, is don't talk about them buying a home. Talk about them being open to the fact that maybe with fewer buyers in the market and more motivated sellers, just maybe the right home will be there and you can spot the opportunity. Now, you don't have to if you don't feel it's the right thing for you to do. However, write this down. You can't win in this market unless you're in it. I think it's a win, you guys, if you can at least get them out of, no, I'm not going to buy, to, okay, I'll be open. If I can find the right opportunity, does that make sense? Anyone feel like they can use that and it gives you a nice little leg up?
Hey, Denny.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you along those lines. So I have a buyer who actually knows that there's more houses coming on the market, so she has a better shot. However, she wants to wait a little bit longer because she thinks there's even more houses might come on the market soon.
Okay, so in essence, he's the only guy in an all-girls school, and he's got a plethora of girls to ask to the prom. However, he's
Right.
hearing they're going to build another school next door that will be another all-girls school. So he's going to pass on the girls that he has right now because he thinks maybe the girls coming down the pipe might have a better choice.
Plus the prices might come down is what they're thinking. That's their thought. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think that's realistic. Who wants to take a 3-minute role play on that, following our model?
I volunteer Agni as the agent.
Agni's the one bringing it up, isn't he?
Yeah,
All
so
right,
he needs to
Agni.
role play it.
All right, Doug, how about you? You're front and center. Can you be that? Can you be that seller? You're muted.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
All right, there you go. And so restate, Agni, restate the objection, Doug.
So, Doug, I understand that you think that the prices might come down because more homes are beginning to come on the market. Is that correct?
Yeah, they'll probably come down or flatten out. There'll be less
Okay.
competition for the homes at this point.
And he's a buyer,
Okay.
right? He's a buyer?
He's a
Right.
buyer, yeah.
Okay, got
Oh,
it.
I'm the buyer. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, Doug, what do you think about what the interest rates are going to be in the time you're going to wait?
Hang on, you got to follow the model. What's the model?
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
wait a minute. I'll get it back there for you. Acknowledge, isolate, address, and close, right? Okay.
So, other than the fact that there may be more homes on the market, and that at which would drive the price down, is there anything else preventing you from buying a home?
Watching to see what the interest rates are doing.
Okay. All right. On that count, do you think that the interest rates are going to go up or down?
I'm kind of figuring they're probably going to be going up some more by the end of the year.
Okay. So, to your point, if the interest rate goes up, even if the prices go flatten, like you mentioned, or go down slightly, will you be paying more for your home or less for your home?
It may not be a bad question. Have you isolated yet?
Oh, I said, is there anything else? Preventing you? Is there other than that just the interest rate?
No, that's pretty much the only thing holding us back right now.
Okay. All right. So, do you think you'll be paying more for a home if the interest rate does rise?
No, I would expect the prices to come down or the competition to come down at least.
All right. So if the prices come down, like you mentioned, it might just flatten or it might come down slightly, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if it does come down, say a little bit, and the interest rate goes up by 1 or 2%, which it might, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but do you think you'll be paying eventually more for your home or less for your home?
Ultimately, it probably depending on how much the prices come down, but it'll probably be pretty close to even.
All right, I'm going to
All
stop
right.
just for a second. Hang on, Agni, hang on. You guys are going to lose people in the number conversation like this.
Hey, Denny,
Yep.
could he go into that scenario you just painted about? Do you think other people may be thinking like you, and where does that put you? Would that be a time just to go into that whole scenario you just painted?
Well, he is missing the first question. You guys cannot miss the first question. What is it?
Buy or
Are you
rent?
buying or renting?
There you go, because it's totally, the tact is totally different.
Right, right.
So ask that question.
Okay, Doug, are you buying or renting?
No,
Actually, in my case, I'll just paint the scenario.
no,
Sorry.
No, does he
think
own
it was
or does he
selling.
rent?
Or renting.
Yes, own or rent, not buy. You currently own, or are you renting?
I currently own.
Now that's a little more complex.
Right. And in my case, actually, just to go off script, the person I'm talking about does own as well. And they don't have to sell to buy.
Okay.
So, Doug, I mean, you mentioned that you'll be either paying a little bit about the same or a little bit less, correct, at the end of the year?
You're going
Um,
back, hang on, you're going back into numbers. It's very difficult. You're attempting to create a picture. Now, this may be the way my brain processes. I'm just saying, I think a lot of people are going to be a little bit lost if you're painting a picture of numbers. And I know you're meeting face to face and you're comparing the payment with a 1% interest. Do you think that would really, do you think most people would get that?
Probably not. Yeah.
No, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it's because I'm not afraid of numbers. I just don't think if you want to be pure in your communication, you better talking numbers. I'm coming from being a bold coach. When I start going through the checkbook registry and I start doing calculations and all this other stuff, the room just energy just like goes to nothing. And so I could be wrong. I'm just saying, be very careful when you get into numbers because
All right.
many people aren't going to understand it. Go in a different direction.
Okay. All right, Doug. I mean, let me just ask you the question again. I kind of know the answer, but why do you want to move from the current house?
All right, awesome. He's going to motivation. That's if you find it out rent or own is one, then eventually you've got to get to the why. Good
Right.
question.
Our kids have moved out and we want to get it moved to a nicer area.
All right.
So you want to live in a not nice area as long as you have kids. Now you got those rascals out. You want to live in a nice area. I love that.
Mhm.
So what is preventing you from moving? I mean, wouldn't it be nice for you to move right away than wait till the end of the year?
Yeah, if we can find the right place.
All right, then let's start looking since, I mean, there's nothing else holding you back and we don't know what the interest rate is going to be by the end of the year. Are you open to looking and seeing? And if the right home comes along, we can discuss more.
We have the right home at the right price.
Sure, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah, it has to work for you, of course. I absolutely get that, Doug. So
Any comments?
let me put you on a search.
You're good. You're good. You're good. He rolled over on you, and I'd like to have buyers like that. Any comments on that, you guys? You got really nice there, Doug.
Mhm.
I wish my buyer was that nice.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
we've had a couple that were.
Okay.
I agree with you on like you were talking about the numbers thing of going down that rabbit hole
Right.
of, I think steer the conversation a little bit more towards what the goal is and not the hurdles.
Okay. Appreciate
It
that,
seems
Doug.
like, I mean, that's kind of my thought is especially I think a lot of people, if they are somewhat of a numbers person, but they're not a realistic realtor, is a lot of people I think have their own preconceived notions on what the market's going to do and that kind of thing. And I think it'd be hard to change their mind in the back of their head. But if you can show them the goal, the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of thing, instead of having to battle through interest rates and what housing prices and what that's going to do back and forth.
I put it in the chat, Denny. Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. That
Mhm.
prey on the emotion more than the logic of interest rates going up.
Right. And then in that case, there's one more thing that happened. And I don't know. Agni said the buyer, the buyer/seller he's working with wants to buy, doesn't have to sell, wants to buy and then sell. Is that right, Agni?
That is correct.
So can you be that person just for a moment?
Sure.
And give me a minute and a half.
All right.
And so you said basically maybe then buying a little bit later. I mean, there's going to be more houses coming out on the market and you're going to be able to get a better buy, right?
That's exactly, yeah.
So all right, well, let's just assume for a moment that's correct. Why don't you just give them the benefit of the doubt? If they're picking their Powerball numbers, why don't you say, you know what, those might be the winning numbers. Now help them see what they're not seeing. So let's assume that market happens and now you go to buy the house and the prices have softened a little bit because there's more inventory. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, if there are more inventory, my thought is that the prices might come down.
That's what I'm saying. There's more. Let's say that happens. Prices come down, there's more inventory, prices come down, you can go buy your house. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think I'll have more choices.
Does that make you feel good? He's not answering my
Yeah.
question. I'm not giving it
Yeah,
away.
yeah, no, that makes me feel good because I think I get some of my power back over the last year.
What has he forgotten? Okay, now you got that, you move, yay. Now we have to go to sell your house. Oh, we're selling your house in a market with more houses for sale, which means you're gonna get less for your home. How does that make you feel?
Well, logically, that doesn't make me feel good, but I know my buyer, she won't care. But anyway, she will care, but yeah, depending when we go really to sell the house. But anyway.
Well, again, you may be absolutely right. However, that's the tape you're playing in your mind. If our conversation has to be able to help them see what they don't see. So
Right.
last question. So if you were to basically save $20,000 because the market softens on the house you're buying, because of where you're going, I'm just using numbers. Yet you're going to take a $30,000 hit on what you're selling. Do you consider that winning?
No, it's not. I agree.
So have you ever heard of the adage, sell high and buy low?
Yes.
Had you thought about the idea of maybe selling your house first? Maybe we can then rent it back or something like that. Then you can sell high and then you can what? Buy lower. So anyway, that could be another spin.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you.
All right. So let's get into some sellers. Seller objection. Somebody fill in the blank here. Because you're going to hear sellers wanting to wait. I want to wait because. Somebody give me the because.
Because the interest rate might come down lower.
Wait till there's more competition in the market from those scared buyers coming back.
I'm just
Yeah,
thinking.
that's where I was going.
The market goes up more.
Well, not that you may be hearing that, so I'm not negative on what you just said. I'm just thinking it doesn't really compute with me. But maybe I'm not understanding.
It's not the right time right now, Denny.
Yes, why?
I don't know. I mean, that's a valid objection. I mean,
It's not the right time. Okay, so it's not the right time. And then who's going to take that? Whitney.
Yeah.
Get out. I know you're watching a Zumba video. Let's get on this. You're going to role play now, Whit. So, Mari, you're going to be the seller. So I don't want to sell because it's not the right time.
Oh, I'm the agent, right?
Yeah. Good for you.
Okay. Hi, Mari. So yeah, I totally understand you want to wait because it's not the right time. Tell me more about that.
Well, I think that I need to be in the city for another 6 months, and then I'll put my home for sale in 6 months.
Okay, and what's important about waiting 6 months?
Well, my new job starts in 6 months in Florida, so I'm moving over there.
Okay, so
Look behind me.
yeah, totally understand. That makes sense. Is there anything else besides your new job that's making you hold off?
No, that's the only thing.
Okay. Are you familiar with what's going on in the market?
I hear that the market is changing.
Okay. Tell me, do you currently rent or own?
You're talking to a seller.
Oh, sorry.
I own.
I'm sorry. What was your objection again? Say it again.
that I want to wait 6 months to put my house for sale because I don't need to sell right now. I'm moving to Florida in 6 months. So
Okay, and when you move to Florida, will you be purchasing a home?
yes, I am.
Okay, and I know you said you're not really familiar with what's going on in the market. Are you looking to sell high and buy low?
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm gonna just stop right there a minute. Okay, so that's attempting that. Now we use that in the other role play, which was appropriate. Did you when you asked that question again? That's an arrow you're pulling out of your quiver, which is a great question. Did it really have anything to do with the conversation you were having?
No, but it made her think about the market.
Okay. Well, let me ask. Okay, keep going.
I don't even know where to go from here because you're waiting for 6 months because of your new job. So what if you were to sell before you start your new job?
Okay, but what would be the incentive to sell now? I mean, I see the houses are selling. I heard the market is changing, but I still see on my neighborhood the houses are selling for high price.
Yeah, so the market's actually shifting right now. So as a seller, you're in a great position to get the most money for your home. And interest rates right now are projected to continue to go up. So by selling now, you can get the most money for your home and essentially lock in a lower rate now.
Now
Meaning
you're digging a huge hole with
I know, I don't know.
You're promising, you're projecting what's going to happen in the future. I'd really advise you not to do that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
Where would you go?
All right. So nice job. Couple different things. And if somebody else may have some input on, and this is just sandpaper, you guys. You ask a question, which is good. However, I'm going to give you a recommendation. There's a better way to ask the question. You ask, are you familiar with what's going on in the market? Now, that's putting them in a position of possibly being wrong. Do you see how the way that question's worded, that gives them an option to be wrong? What is a better way to ask the question? Which is it's a better question anyway.
May I share with you what's going on in the market as a seller right now?
Well, that's kind of a statement designed as a question.
What do you know what's going on in the real estate market?
I'm sorry?
What do you know what is going on in the real estate market?
Well, that's similar. It goes back to the meat thermometer. Based on, and there's no wrong answer here, Mari. Do you think the market's working in your favor right now, or do you think it's working against you? That is kind of the more of a, you see, she can't be wrong. Or what's your general opinion of what's going on in the market? An opinion isn't right or wrong. It's just an opinion. That's number one. Now, remember, we want to help them see what they can't see. Tell me, y'all tell me, what is a potential way she could win by waiting 6 months? How can it
Go up.
Yes, prices could go up. Tell me how she could potentially lose.
Prices go down.
See, that's where you have to go. And so, all right, so let me ask you, what happens then? Okay, I'm going to go, so had you thought about it, so let me ask you, would you sell your house 6 months from now, about the time you need to move, if you knew it was going to sell for less?
No. I would prefer to sell for more, of course.
It could. And let me ask you, if it get closer to the 6 months and your house wasn't sold, what would you do?
Oh, I have to sell, because then if I cannot sell it, I will have to rent because I got to move in 6 months.
And then you might have to be under a little bit of stress or pressure, right? And do people make the best decisions when they're under that kind of stress or pressure? And if a buyer could sense that pressure you're under because you had to get out, do you see how that could work against you?
Yeah, I see that might not be very convenient for me.
Now, this is exactly the same as a homeless seller, isn't it? They're afraid to sell because they don't be homeless. How do you handle that? We've worked on this. Forgive me, I'm setting you up to maybe fail on this. Who remembers us having this conversation? How would you like to have your cake and eat it too? What if we could find in the market right now, so you can take all the market risk out of it? What if we could find that special buyer, Mari, that would give you your number for your house and let you stay there until it's time to move to Florida? Would that idea work for you?
Yeah, I would love to do that.
So is that like uber simple? Whit, does that make any sense to you?
Yes, I have to watch this on replay like 4 times.
Yeah, well, the only way you get good at Zumba is you have to watch it. I don't know if you received the email, and we'll go back to another role play here in a second. I did a TV spot on Tuesday. So I haven't talked to you guys since I did this TV spot. And the reason I want you to know about it is I discovered something in our market that I want you to look for. I've asked my assistant to send you the 3-minute video. I would ask you to look at it. You can post it or do one like it with this information about your market and begin to work on becoming the local economist of choice that Gary talks about. Now, so I'm not going to take 3 minutes. I'm going to just give you the gist of it. And so it is your earth shattering. Okay. It's earth shattering. So I'm talking, the topic is I'm giving my projection for the summer season. And so I have 3 minutes to do it. And the bottom line in our marketplace here, sales are down, prices are up year to date. Now, we're all agents here. We all have experience. I want you to understand this at a very integral, guttural level. What would you say, generally speaking, most people would say, if sales are down and prices are up, what does that suggest?
Prices of homes are going up.
Yeah, well, yeah, prices are going up, right? Because prices are going up. What does it mean, though? I mean, it's kind of like sales are down, prices are up. It seems like backwards.
Scary to I don't know.
Anybody have a thought about it?
Overpriced?
Oh, well, no, not. No, I don't think so, because I don't think you can sell. Nothing ever sells overpriced. It sells at market value. That's just a theory, I believe.
Still limited inventory.
Or
Yes.
people aren't moving. Okay, yeah.
No, that's it. That's it. And you know what? What's interesting is they say, well, sales, and then we could have used this. We could have used this probably in the last several months. However, get this. The 3 numbers you guys want to watch if you want to be the local economist of choice, very simple. It's the change in the number of sales. I generally track single family. You can track if you farm a country club area, take that neighborhood. If you do condos on the beach, you take that area. Take your segment, okay? So it's the change in the number of sales. So in our marketplace, we're down 9% here in Lee County. Naples is down a whopping 37%. And what's interesting is people would say that they think that's because of inventory. Our prices are up double digit. So again, there's been no fall off of prices. Now, so you've got the change in the number of sales, change in the median sales price. Actually, I looked at it from January. I looked at it from January to May for 5 months. Guess what? Here's the third one. Write this down because this is the holy grail. I started looking at new listings coming on the market. So this is my thought of the day, you guys. This is my thought of the day. And this is what I discovered. Over the last 90 days, more new homes have come on the market than any other 90-day period in over 10 years. Now, what that means is this, and if you go back and watch this video, this is 20 years of figuring this stuff out. I'm gonna make it very simple. When you look at the change in the number of homes being sold, when they track a closing, When was that party? They had the closing in May, but when was the party? It was 30, 60, 90 days ago. It's measuring the temperature of the market then when it under contract, not when it closed. So what we call that data, that's called lagging. It's not real time. It's what happened 30, 60, 90 days ago. When you look at the closing, that's when they measure the median sales price. It's measured at 30, 60, 90 days ago. It does not necessarily mean the temperature of the water now. Are you tracking with me on that? I'm attempting to make this uber simple. On the other hand, new listings coming on the market is a real-time indicator. My MLS will tell me at the end of every month, if I look, how many new listings did we have? However, it's a real-time indicator. However, the results are lagging. So as inventory builds, it will take the market time to realize and then start to shift. So what I want you to do is watch that and figure it out, because and what I wrote in my little narrative, it's like here in Florida, we're the lightning capital of the world. And my wife's from Alaska. I never forget the time she was in Houston. We were just started dating then, and she was in Houston, Austin, and she called me at night. She said, "Denny, we're under attack." I said, "What do you mean?" I thought these big booms everywhere. In Alaska, guess what? They don't have lightning. So she was in a thunderstorm and heard thunder for the first time. However, as you know, boom, you see the flash of lightning. And I was taught as a Boy Scout, you start counting 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, how far it is away. So basically the rise in inventory over the last 90 days is the flash of lightning. The thunder hasn't hit yet. The market has not reacted yet. So when you go in and have your conversation with buyers and sellers, you have this information, you can use it strategically. But however, more importantly, this is what you guys knowing the information. Quit getting your information from somewhere else. Know your market intimately. It's very simple. It'll take you 5 minutes to do that math. If you could go back in history, knowing what you know now, and you stood at the dock when people were boarding the Titanic, would you be able to speak with conviction? Please don't get on the boat. When you understand the market and kind of know it because you're watching, although we don't know if it's just going to sprinkle or if it's going to rain. Here's my blink on the market, you guys. There has been no evidence yet of the market falling off the cliff. Buyers, when they hear the word shift, they think crash. Shift is just a change in momentum. And so best case scenario, our market will slow to a modest pace, 3, 4, 5, 6% growth. I don't know. I mean, however, there's buyers out there that have a different opinion. And we can, so I'm going to go and close this thing with one more objection. Here's the buyer's objection. I'm going to tell you what the objection is, but who wants to handle it? I need somebody. Christy, are you there? Is that just a blow up doll? Or are you really there? She hates it when I call on her.
I'm really here.
Okay, well, your mom is not fully there yet today, so I blame you for that. Can you do a quick role play, or you wanted me to pass?
Probably not. I'm in a bad service area right around the corner, so I might cut out, but I can.
All right, James, coming to you, babe.
Yes, sir.
I'm a buyer. I want to wait. Let me tell you why I want to wait. This is an email I got from one of my neighbors, and this is going to be the one we're going to close on. We've got time. You can do this. And I'm nervous, and I'm not finding it. 1 second. Here it is. I want to wait. You don't want to know why?
Yeah.
Inflation is out of control. This is what my neighbor sent me. The political divide is worse than ever. The world's at war. Prices of real estate never higher. Economic instability everywhere. Supply issues. Diesel fuel down to a 13-day national supply. I see no positives for the market and major changes by the end of the summer. Florida may be different due to many people moving here. However, there ain't no way, no how I'm going to buy anything.
Oh, that's
All right, okay, James.
All right, Denny. So other than that, is there any other reason why you wouldn't buy today?
I was wondering if you'd say that. Oh my gosh, I just basically am ready to slit my wrist. And you say, other than that. No, I think that's enough.
Okay, so Denny, do you have to move at this point?
Now, okay, I'm going to give you a mulligan on that.
All right, I was going to try to get a motivation out of you.
Not yet.
Okay.
What is, are you married question?
Do you own or do you rent, Denny?
There you go. Because do I have to move? If I answer that, you still don't know if I have, I mean, I own or rent. I rent.
Okay. And so, Denny, do you want to be in the market to win, or are you in the market to not lose?
Oh, this guy, you took notes. Now my heart's going pitter patter. We talked about this last week, right? So
Yes, sir.
watch this, you guys. If you weren't here last week, this is it. Do they currently own or rent? Do they want to win or not lose? Another way to ask that question, if you want to soften it, listen, if you went into a casino and you decided to play the slot machines and they had this one slot machine all by itself and had a sign over it, this machine will never win. Which one would you play? All right. Well, I don't want to play to lose. I mean, no, who would do that?
Okay, well, Denny, how do you see renting? Do you get, there's any advantages to renting other than you're paying someone else's mortgage?
Well, yeah. When the sewer backs up, I don't have to do it. I just call the landlord.
Understood, but you're not getting any equity in it. You don't own it. Would you like to have?
Ask.
Okay. So what has you thinking about looking for a home, Denny?
No, you were making the good point. Just ask.
What chance do you have of building equity?
If you keep renting. Yeah, there you go. Okay. What chance do you have, Denny, of building equity if you continue to rent?
Well, that's a silly question. None, of course.
Okay. So do you understand the advantages of owning a home?
That's complex.
Okay. But you understand that there are tax advantages, you get depreciation and things like that from home ownership that you don't get from renting?
All right. Now that's the reason I'm slowing down a little bit. That's pretty complex. Most people are not going to follow you on that when you're taking out a 9-iron when you could be using a driver here.
Okay.
So, Don, go ahead.
So James, so you already established what chance you have of building equity was none. What chance is that your rent may go up would be next. And then, Denny, who's fared better in the history of real estate, owners or renters?
Right. So, well, it's funny you mentioned my rent going up. It just went up like $400 and he would only give me a 1-year lease. I'm afraid it might go up again.
So Denny, do you see the advantage of having a mortgage for 30 years, that it doesn't ever change, that you have one payment for the next 30 years? It's not going to keep increasing?
Okay. Again, you're doing really well here. I want to help you with a little things.
Okay.
I never see an advantage of a mortgage. You see how, can you see the advantage of a toothache?
No.
So there is an advantage. So wouldn't it be the advantage of ownership, not the advantage of a mortgage? A mortgage.
Is it an advantage of paying less than you would if you were renting?
No, that is a much better question. Y'all see when you put a painful word in there. Who wants a mortgage? Dave Ramsey would hate me if we get a mortgage.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I see the advantage.
Okay. So then what's stopping you from looking at homes to own?
Well, did you just forget my 45-minute rant on how crazy this world is?
Well, yeah, but don't you feel like the world is always crazy at some point in time? There's always something going on.
Yes.
And in the long run, don't people that own homes, more money is made from real estate than from any other form of investment?
That's a statement made. That's
Do
like
you feel
hang on.
more money is made?
That's like Britney Spears saying, I'm a good mom, okay?
Right.
You gotta have it, you gotta make don't make a statement.
Okay.
Don't argue with me about my view of the future.
Right.
What if that's not right? How long have you felt that way?
Right. Okay. All right, Denny. So what if all that gloom and doom is wrong?
I don't see how it can be.
Well, let's just suppose it was.
Perfect. That's perfect. You know, don't argue with him about the future.
Right.
You don't know the future either. Well, okay, I'll bite. What if it was?
Okay. So then, other than that, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to own a home then?
Well, you
I would circle back. Well, I'm trying to get you into like looking to buy. So
yeah,
as
well, you were
opposed to
playing the
rent.
Beatles and you just went to the country. That doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Ask another question.
What would home ownership look like for you?
All right,
No?
let me. No, you really did really good. I mean, Don, you were almost right on the model. You asked some great questions. I'm being a little hard on you because you're a pro at this. Let me just say this.
Hardly.
Let me just do this. You got to. How are you taking the pain? So let me ask you. You're renting now. How long have you been renting?
Okay, there you go. Yep.
No, let me finish it. How long have you been renting?
3 years.
And when did you first have the idea that maybe a home ownership would be a good thing?
When they started raising my rent.
And when was that?
After the first year.
After the first of this year?
No, the first year that I was renting in the last 3 years. So every year they've raised the rent. So made me start thinking I should maybe look at buying.
I got it. And then when did you feel like your opinion of the market kind of turn and go the other way? Oh,
Well,
okay, no.
When I just read this article that the sky is falling.
I got it. Okay, so let me ask you, 3 years ago, if you could go back in time, would you buy 3 years ago when they first started raising your rent?
Yes.
And if you would have done that, how would you have benefited if you'd have done that?
Well, based on the fact the market went crazy last year from all I'm hearing. So yeah, I would have probably made a good amount of money on equity on my home. So it would have been smarter.
And here's where you want to use numbers, guys. Don't let them get away with that. Well, you kind of know what it was. So let's just say it was up 50%. So, their house is, 400,000 back then. So that's $200,000 you let slip through your fingers, right?
Yep.
Ooh, now that kind of number hurts.
Yep.
So would it be fair to say you made a mistake then?
Yes.
Because you were wrong about the future. Do you think there's a possibility you could be wrong about the future again?
Yes.
Or
Possibly.
no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure. No one knows, but
However, that's the thing. Take the conversation. Don't go right angle with them on their opinion of the future. Talk about the probability or what the effects would be if they're wrong. Because if they had a crystal ball, he would have bought 3 years ago. And he didn't because he made a mistake. The bottom line is, do you want to make another mistake? Because it's possible, isn't it? So does that make sense?
yes.
That was good, though. I appreciate you paying attention and taking notes. Anybody learn anything? Anyone want to give me an aha? I live off ahas, guys. Did I say anything that was worthwhile today?
Well, Denny, just coming back to, do you think the current market's working for you or against you? How would you like to have your cake and eat it too? Those are some oldies but goodies. I rewrote
There they
them
are.
down.
They're
Thank
on
you.
45s. Yep. Anybody else?
Yeah, don't delve too much deep into numbers. Use emotion versus logic.
Yep. All right. Nice job. Mark.
But do know your market numbers. So know your number of sales, prices, and new listings on the market.
There you go. It's inventory. That's right.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate that, you guys. I know we're a couple minutes over. I love what I'm doing. You are helping me become a better agent and a better coach. And if I can do anything for you, let me know. And if you get that video, post it on your socials, even if it's my numbers, and say, hey, listen, this is what's going on in another market. If you'd like to find out if it's going on here, give me a shout. So be careful out there. Love you, mean it.
Question before you hang up.
Yeah.
Can you move over to the side so I can screenshot? Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Hey, Denny, Denny, we feel the need for leads.
Wait, now I am done.
And will you resend out that video, Denny? I don't think I ever got that one. Like,
Can you send me an email so I can forward it to my assistant?
I will. Perfect. Thank you.
Got it. Have a
All
good
right,
weekend.
thank you guys. I'll get your Zumba class.